Hey, welcome to World Code Updates. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. A headline flashed across screens worldwide. Nicaragua approves $50 billion rival to Panama Canal. The year was 2013, and the world of global trade held its breath. A small, impoverished nation in Central America was about to challenge a titan. The plan? Build a waterway so massive it would dwarf the legendary Panama Canal. This was more than a construction project, it was a geopolitical earthquake. President Daniel Ortega, long at odds with the US, stood beside a mysterious Chinese billionaire, Wang Jing. Together, they announced the Nicaragua Grand Canal, 3 times longer, deeper, and wider than Panama's. It would be a gateway for supertankers and mega container ships too big for even the expanded Panama Canal. The world was captivated. Could they really do it? The announcement sent shockwaves from Washington to Beijing. For over a century, the Panama Canal symbolized American influence and engineering might. Now, a Chinese company was set to build an even bigger one, right next door. The implications were staggering. China's growing presence in Latin America, America's traditional sphere of influence, was suddenly in question. The project was framed as commercial, but few believed it. For Nicaragua, one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere, the canal was a golden ticket. It promised jobs, investment, and a chance to escape poverty. The government sold it as a project that would lift the entire nation. But beneath the grand promise, anxiety grew. The scale was daunting, the cost astronomical, and the risks, environmental, social, and political, immense. The world watched, wondering, was this the dawn of a new age or the beginning of a disaster? The excitement was palpable. But so was the skepticism. Would this be a miracle for Nicaragua, or a cautionary tale for the world? The stage was set for one of the most audacious infrastructure gambles in modern history. The world waited for the first shovel to hit the ground. The Nicaragua Canal was pure ambition, a 173-mile waterway over 3 times the length of Panama's. Designed for the world's largest ships, it would cut through jungle, hills, and Lake Nicaragua. President Ortega saw it as his legacy, a path to prosperity and independence from American influence. He granted a 50-year concession, extendable to 100, to the Hong Kong-Nicaragua Canal Development Investment Company, HKND. At the helm was Wang Jing, a Chinese billionaire with no experience in mega infrastructure. He claimed to have $50 billion in funding and promised completion in 5 years. His involvement fueled speculation about Chinese government backing, despite his denials. The US was uneasy. A Chinese-built canal in Central America threatened to shift regional power. Washington worried about Beijing's strategic foothold. The Nicaragua Canal was no longer just an infrastructure project, it was a geopolitical flashpoint. The world's eyes were on Nicaragua, waiting to see if this bold vision would become reality. The stakes were enormous, and the risks even greater. The countdown to construction had begun. The canal plan was more than a ditch. It was a blueprint for a new Nicaragua. The $50 billion price tag included 2 deep-water ports, an international airport, and free trade zones. New roads and bridges would connect isolated regions, promising to double the country's GDP. The government projected 50,000 construction jobs and hundreds of thousands more once operational. For a nation where a third live in poverty, the vision was seductive. But the plan's complexity was its weakness. Experts doubted HKND's ability to deliver, given its lack of experience and opaque finances. The timeline seemed wildly optimistic. Would this new economy lift everyone, or just a select few? The blueprint was grand, but the details were worryingly vague. Nicaragua's future hung in the balance. The canal announcement split Nicaragua. For many, it was hope, jobs, prosperity, and a leap into the 21st century. The government's campaign promised new schools, hospitals, and roads, but fear grew among those along the canal route. Tens of thousands faced displacement. HKND's sweeping powers to expropriate land sparked protests and outrage. Environmentalists warned of irreversible damage to Lake Nicaragua, the region's vital freshwater source. The nation faced a painful dilemma: dazzling prosperity or social and environmental ruin. The promise of development clashed with the threat to communities and nature. Nicaragua was caught between dreams and disaster. The debate raged on, with no easy answers. The canal was never just about Nicaragua, it was a move on the global chessboard. Wang Jing insisted HKND was private, but few believed it. The project fit China's Belt and Road Initiative, a modern Silk Road connecting China to the world. A canal in Central America would be a crown jewel. bypassing the US-influenced Panama Canal. Washington was alarmed. The Monroe Doctrine was being tested. For Ortega, China was a powerful ally with no demands for democratic reforms. For China, it was a chance to challenge US dominance in its own backyard. The Nicaragua Canal became a symbol of shifting global power. The grand announcements faded into silence. The promised construction never began, just a token groundbreaking far from the canal route. Wang Jing's fortune collapsed in China's 2015 stock market crash, and investor interest vanished. HKND's finances, always opaque, now looked like a house of cards. The project's momentum evaporated, offices closed, PR campaigns ended, and the website went dark. Ortega's government stopped mentioning the canal. For communities along the route, the threat of expropriation lingered, but jobs and compensation never came. Protests continued, fueled by betrayal and frustration. The canal became a ghost project, just a law granting foreign control over Nicaraguan land. Hopes dissolved into distrust and disappointment. The dream had become a national embarrassment. To grasp Nicaragua's ambition, you must understand the Panama Canal's legacy. For over a century, Panama's 51-mile canal has been the linchpin of global trade and a symbol of US power. The US built and controlled it for decades, shaping the region's destiny. In 2016, Panama expanded the canal, doubling its capacity for the world's largest ships. The upgrade secured its dominance and made the economic case for a Nicaraguan rival much weaker. Why build a $50 billion competitor when the original, now bigger and better, already does the job? Panama's expansion was a direct answer to Nicaragua's challenge. The old king wasn't ready to give up its crown. The world's shipping lanes remained firmly in Panama's grasp. The Nicaragua Canal and expanded Panama Canal represented two visions for global shipping. Nicaragua's pitch size. Its canal would handle the world's biggest ships, offering a faster, more direct route for Asia-US East Coast trade. Proponents argued it would cut transit times and costs, capturing a lucrative market. But Panama had powerful advantages. It existed, was reliable, and had just expanded. The shipping industry values predictability. Panama was a known quantity. Nicaragua's project was high-risk, run by an inexperienced company with murky funding. Panama's canal was shorter and faster for most ships. The economics favored Panama, a proven, profitable asset versus a risky, untested gamble. Analysts doubted there was enough traffic for two mega canals. The idea of a bigger canal was attractive, but the hurdles were immense. In the end, Panama's reliability and capacity won out. The Nicaraguan dream faded as the shipping world stuck with what worked. The battle was over before it began. Today, the Nicaragua Grand Canal is a phantom. No construction, no investment, just broken promises. The legal framework granting HKND sweeping powers remains, a bitter legacy for Nicaraguans. Communities along the route live with uncertainty, their trust in government shattered. The canal's collapse is a cautionary tale about mega projects driven by ambition, not transparency or public input. It shows how the promise of development can justify immense social and environmental risks. The project inspired hope, but threatened to destroy ecosystems and uproot communities. Even in failure, the canal signaled China's growing ambition and the shifting balance of global power. Countries now look to Beijing as well as Washington for investment and partnership. The ghost of the canal is a signpost. American influence is no longer uncontested, even in its own backyard. The lesson is clear: development must be responsible, equitable, and sustainable. The needs of people and the environment cannot be sacrificed for phantom prosperity. Nicaragua's canal remains a scar and a warning to the world. The story is not just about what was built, but what was lost.